Welcome back, students. Today we are going to discuss the next topic in the third module, Environmental Engineering 1. So this module mainly deals with the treatment processes of water, and we already had an introduction to the various treatment processes, and today we are going to discuss the theory and principles of sedimentation tanks. So we know that the treatment method that is adopted or employed for treating the water from various sources mainly depends upon the nature of the impurities that are present in the water, and also up to the extent up to which we have to eliminate the impurities so as to meet the requisite standards of the quality of water. So the various processes in water treatment mainly includes screening. Then we have sedimentation. So sedimentation, again, it can be with or without flocculation or coagulation. Then there is filtration, chlorination, and various other methods of disinfection, then aeration, etc. So again, depending upon the situations that are encountered, we will the processes may be classified, and also the sequence of the treatment will be chosen based on the situations that we encounter, and also based on the type of source from which the water has been taken, and the level of pollution that has occurred in the concerned source. So a typical water treatment plant follows the following sequence. So firstly, we have the source from which the water is being taken. Then the next process is the screening process. In the screening process, the various floating and other suspended impurities will be removed by passing water through screens. Again, the screens may be either fine screen or coarse screen. So the water, when it is passed through the screens, all the debris like the leaves and other floating matters can be removed from the screen through screening. And the next process, like I said, it is a sedimentation process. So sedimentation can be plain sedimentation or sedimentation with coagulation. So after sedimentation, the next process is filtration of the water, and once the filtration is completed, then the next process is the disinfection. So disinfection means the removal of the pathogenic organisms that are present in water. After disinfection, finally it is the storage and then the distribution of water to the various stakeholders or the users. So what is sedimentation? So sedimentation of what it is a process or it is a process in water treatment wherein the water is allowed to settle, or water is kept in a tank which we normally call a sedimentation tank or a sedimentation basin, and the particles that are present in the water, that especially the suspended solids that are present in the water, are allowed to sink to the bottom, and here the particles will be settling or sinking under the force of gravity, which shall later be removed from after it has been settled at the bottom of the tank. So we can say that it is a physical process, and here the heavier organic particles or the heavier inorganic particles will settle down towards the bottom of the sedimentation tank, and in order to achieve this process, that is the removal of the suspended or the settlable particles, the water has to be retained or kept in a tank or a reservoir, or we call it as a basin, and this is kept for a definite time. So water is kept in the tank for a definite time, and the particles are allowed to settle to the bottom, and this time for which the water is being stored or kept in the sedimentation tank, we call it as the detention time, or it is also known as a detention period. So after water is kept for a particular detention period, and after all the particles settle down to the bottom, then the upper clear water will be later collected to another tank, where the next further processes will be like filtration and other disinfection, etc., will be carried out, and the sludge that is settled at the bottom of the sedimentation tank will be removed. So this is usually drawn out from the bottom through a pipe. We call it as the sludge pipe. So here you can see a typical sedimentation tank. So here, as you see, the water will flow to the tank. The tank is also called as a sedimentation basin, and then as I told you already, the gravity will cause the flocks or the particles to settle at the bottom of the tank. So it might take quite a long time for all the particles to settle out, and that time we call it as the detention time. So the main principle of sedimentation, or the sedimentation principle, is that the suspended solids that are present in water, those which have a specific gravity greater than water, will tend to settle under the force of gravity. And we can say that all particles which have a specific gravity 1.2 or above will readily settle down to the bottom of the tank. And when it comes to the lighter particles, it is a little difficult, especially when it comes to very light particles which have specific gravity less than water, and also the colloidal particles. Those cannot be removed by the principle of by this sedimentation process. And the phenomenon of the settling down of the particles at the bottom of the tank, like I told you, the particles under the force of gravity will settle towards the bottom of the tank. So this process or this phenomenon is called as the hydraulic subsidence, and each particle will have its own hydraulic settling value that causes the hydraulic subsidence. And the tank or the basin in which the flow is retarded, so water will flow from one treatment unit to the other treatment unit. So in the sedimentation tank, the flow of water will be retarded, and the average time for which the water will be detained in the tank, we call it as the detention period. Now we'll see what are the different types of settling. So based on the source or the type of water that is to be treated, some sources might contain water which have quite a large number of particles present in it. So based on that, we can classify the settling into the following four types. They are discrete settling, flocculent settling, hindered settling, and compression settling. So what is meant by discrete settling? So as you see in the figure here, in the process of discrete settling, we can see that the particles are quite less in number. So we can see that there are very less particles in this case. So in this process of discrete settling, the individual particles will set independently, because it does not hinder or it will not interfere the movement of the other particles. So in discrete settling, we see that the individual particles will settle separately, or it will settle independently, and it normally occurs when there is a relatively low concentration of solids in the water. Now coming to the next type of settling, that is flocculent settling. So in this case, the individual particles will stick together. So here in the case of flocculent settling, the individual particles will stick together, and it will form the clumps that are formed, we call it as the flock. And this actually occurs when there is a greater concentration of solid, and also due to various chemical or biological reactions which will alter the particles surface, and that will lead to attachment of the particles amongst themselves. So this type of settling, we call it as flocculent settling, wherein the particles will attach towards each other, or it will stick towards each other and then settle down to the bottom of the tank. And now coming to the hindered settling. Here hindered settling also occurs when the particles, unlike the discrete settling, in the case of hindered settling, the number of particles will be more. So there will be a hindrance or a resistance to the settling of the particles. So in this case, the particles will settle at a lower speed than that in the case of a discrete settling. So now coming to the fourth type, that is compression settling. So in compression settling, what happens is it occurs mainly when the particles settle by compressing the mass below. The total number of particles will be higher, so the concentration will be high. So in this case, the particles will settle by compressing the mass that is present below. So we call it as this is a discrete settling where the particles are lesser. Then here you can see the flocculent settling where the particles will attach with each other and then settle. And this is a compression settling. Mainly here what happens is the particles will settle by compressing the mass that is present below. So these are the four types of settling. Now coming to the types of sedimentation. So sedimentation can be either plain sedimentation or sedimentation with coagulation. So plain sedimentation is a process wherein the water will be allowed to rest, or it will be placed in the sedimentation tank, and the particles will be allowed to settle due to natural gravity force alone. So we are not adding any external chemical or anything in this case. Only due to gravity, the particles that are settleable will settle towards the bottom of the tank. And here we can say that this method is comparatively cheaper, and it is widely used in most of the treatment plants. When it comes to sedimentation with coagulation, so in this case, this is mainly done when the particles have a specific the specific gravity of the particles is less than that of water, so there will be no settlement. And also when the in order to remove the colloidal particles that are present in water, so in this case what we will do is we will add a measured quantity of some chemical, we call it as a coagulant, and that will be added to water, and then it will be mixed thoroughly. So once the coagulants are added, the particles will mix or react with the coagulant, and then they will form, it will all get attached, and due to various chemical reaction, it will form flocks which can then settle to the bottom, or it will precipitate and coagulate, and then these flocks will settle to the bottom, and that can be removed. So this process we call it as the sedimentation with coagulation. So the various types of coagulants that are normally used are as shown below. Aluminium sulfate is one, and then we have ferrous sulfate, ferric sulfate, ferric chloride, lime, and aluminium salts are normally cheaper, and iron salts are more effective. So these are the various types of coagulants that are normally used in the treatment process of water. So alum is also one most widely used type of coagulant. Now coming to the various shapes of the sedimentation tanks. So sedimentation tanks may be either rectangular in shape, it can be circular in shape, or it can be in the shape such that the bottom part is a hopper bottom tank. So in the rectangular tank, normally the flow will be in the horizontal manner, and in the case of a circular tank, the flow is usually radial, or there is spiral flow. And when it comes to the hopper bottom tank, the flow is usually vertical. So we'll be discussing in detail the different types of tank and also the design of the tank in the coming classes. Now coming to the various factors or parameters that influence the sedimentation process. Of course, the size, shape and weight of the particles are the most, that is one of the most important factor which affects the sedimentation process. So based on the size, shape and weight, we can decide whether the particle will be able to settle down under the force of gravity. Again, the viscosity and temperature of water is another factor. Then comes the detention period of the tank, the effective depth of the tank, again area of the tank, the surface overflow rate, the velocity of flow in the tank, and also the inlet and the outlet arrangements. So in detail we will be discussing these various parameters in the next class. Thank you.